I love that line. I love when you say that. That's great.
But I am so excited about this show, like I said, because we want to honor the birth mothers who decided to give their babies up and give them the best possible life that they possibly could. To me, they are the brave and the selfless, and this is going to be a very hard show for me.
You'll get through it. You'll get through it. Hang in there.
Okay, we're starting already. We want you to meet one of these mothers right now. Take a look at this.
9 months ago, I became pregnant. Scared, confused, and afraid, I turned to my dad. He said he didn't have room in his home for a new baby and me. My mother said she loved me, but she didn't have room for a new baby either. She was also expecting. At 18, what was I supposed to do? I didn't even have a home. A friend suggested adoption and I called a hotline. Now, 9 months later, I've brought not only a life into this world, but I've given a life to a family. My daughter's name is Lauren, and these are her loving parents. I'm doing better than I thought I'd be doing. It is hard. I'm back home now, and getting on with my life, getting out there, feeling every emotion that there is to feel.
Is your family supportive?
Well, my friends are more supportive than my family. My mother's great, but she's not with me. She's living somewhere else, and had problems with my father about the adoption, but we're working through that.
Did you always know in your heart that was the decision you were going to make?
No, I didn't always know. At first I had no idea what I was going to do, but once I thought about it and decided on it, there was no other choice. It was.
You wrote a letter to your daughter.
Yes.
Do you mind if I share a portion of this letter? There's a place here, and a beautiful poem at the end to your daughter. It says here, I handed her to her new loving family with tears on my face, but a smile in my heart. For every tear I shed that day, I know that is a day in the future in which she'll smile. She is my heart. When you hear that letter back, how does it make you feel?
Like I want to cry. Really, I miss her. I do. And but it makes me feel good because that's exactly how I feel. I know that she's having the best life right now. And
you didn't feel that you could provide a good kind of life to your daughter?
I didn't feel I could do that. I felt like I have so much going on in my life right now. I know I could give her the love, but the attention and the things.
You wrote this letter right after she was born, right? This little poem to her. You also helped name her. What was that experience like?
I was standing in the Blockbuster, actually, and
in Blockbuster?
I was standing in Blockbuster, and she called. They had called on the phone, and I had said, well, what are they going to name the baby? And it was on the cell phone. And they were like, well, they picked out a couple names. They want to know how you feel about Lauren. And I said, I love it. I absolutely, totally love it. And they're like, well, if you don't like it, there's other names. And I said, no, I love Lauren. And it was great to be able to do that.
Let me ask you too, because I'm an adoptive mother. You had a great experience by picking your birth parents.
Right.
I mean, the adoptive parents. Yeah, there we go. But what was that like for you? Did you go through a series of pictures, and how did you know it was them?
I went through, when I went to the agency, they gave me books to look through, and I looked through a couple and was, okay with them, and I saw Tom and Carol's book, and my heart stopped. It was them. I knew the minute I looked at it that it was them.
What did that feel like?
It felt like, I felt at peace, like it was just, like somebody was like whispering in my ear, it's them, pick them.
The reason I say that is because we're going to talk to some adoptive parents, but I know in my case, I believe my children chose me. And in every case, the birth mother felt that they belonged with with us. And it was just a knowledge, just a
It
feeling.
was just a feeling. I mean, I looked and it was them.
You're
Yeah, wonderful.
you're a brave
I believe
young
that. I think God knows where they go.
you're a
I
brave
think.
young woman, Jennifer. It's hard for me to fathom the feeling that you must have been going through, because take us back to that moment in the hospital. You just had your baby, and you take your baby from your arms and you place it into someone else's arms, and then you leave the hospital without your child. What does that feel like?
It was the hardest thing I've ever done, honestly. But it was the best thing. The feeling was, I was torn. I was so sad. I was so hurt that I wasn't going to be able to hold her anymore after today. There were tears. But at the same time, I felt that she's going home with these people who love her. And I could tell the minute they looked at her that they loved her. And I knew she would have a better life than I could ever give her. And so I was ecstatic with happiness, but yet so sad.
Later on in the show, I'm going to ask you to give your opinion, because I know that there's a lot of young women out there in your condition or your position. Either they have given birth, or they're about to give birth, or they just found out that they're pregnant. I want to ask you later on in the show the advice that you would give them in their situation right now. Will you join us later on in the show for that?
Yes, I will.